Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Live with NORML. I'm J.M. Padini, the Development Director for the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. It's Friday, November 3rd, 2023. You know what that means, friends? It's my favorite time to hang out with you, answer your burning questions live. Thanks for being here. Hello, Cheryl. You're first. Cheryl, where are you watching from? Hey, everyone, take a quick second to hit that like, follow, or subscribe button wherever you're watching so you never miss when NORML goes live. And then take a quick minute to drop a note in the comments and tell me where you're watching from. Hey, Matthew on LinkedIn. Hello, Andrea. Happy Friday to you. Cheryl is ready with the questions. Cheryl asking, is Texas going legal anytime soon? Well, Cheryl, you're going to have to vote in some people in Texas who want to see legalization happen, because Texas doesn't have ballot initiative process like most states that have legalized cannabis for adults. So, anytime soon? You know what is good news for you, though, Cheryl? You have a fantastic NORML chapter in your state, Texas NORML, led by the equally fabulous Jax James. So get connected with Texas NORML if you haven't yet. Hello, France in Michigan. Hey, Folly in Maryland. Hello, Fred in Virginia. Good to see you back. Hey, Phil. Hello. Phil in Rochester is hoping their dispensaries will get opened. Matthew in Oklahoma. What's going on there? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Hello, other LinkedIn user in Oklahoma, just like Matthew. Hey, we are going to talk about what's coming up next week, though, and that's Tuesday, Election Day. For so many Americans, it is Election Day. And while they might not be seeing a legalization measure on their ballot unless they're in Ohio, who voters elect to represent them and their legislatures will ultimately determine future cannabis policies in that state. So even when you don't see it on the ballot, it's always on the ballot. Hey, Petunia in Connecticut, thank you for joining us. So here's the good news. We have you covered here at NORML. First of all, you want to make sure you're registered to vote. You want to find out where your polling place is, all of those good things, right? So let me share this with you real quick. Here's where you, or not real quick, here's where you can check. There it goes. Here's where you can check if you're registered to vote, or if anything needs to get updated on your voter registration information. It might be too late to do that right before this Tuesday election, but you can see what your voter status is right here on this page, our register to vote page. Then it will help you find out where you can vote if you are, in fact, registered to vote. Hello, John in Rich Creek. Hey, Jeffrey. Pause, everyone. Let's check out Jeffrey's question. I gave you a reference to contact someone regarding an apartment complex having an anti-cannabis provision in the lease. Could I share that information again? Yeah, you know, Jeffrey, why don't you just send that to legal@norml.org. Just that easy. You can just do that. Just do that. We'll see it that way. Hey, JT, welcome back. Good to see you here. All right, so elections are decided by those who show up. It's up to you to make your voice heard on election day. Make sure you're registered to vote. Make your plan to vote. And part of that plan should be looking at who's on your ballot. And hey, guess what? We can help you do that too. And if they are an incumbent or if they have answered our voter survey, then we'll have a pretty good idea where they stand on policies like legalization and protecting the rights of responsible consumers. You can see this and more in NORML's Smoke the Vote voter guide. Of course, it's called that. So check that out. Of course, it said it gave me an error when I tried to share that with you. So I'm going to post it again. Sorry if you see it twice. You know, you'll get over it. Let's see if it goes this time. There it goes. Hey. Oh, hi, Matthew. I can see you're asking someone else a question. But I don't know where that is. It shows me what it wants to show me. All right. Early voting may already be in effect wherever you are. I think that we sent out emails to Kentucky, to New Jersey, to Mississippi, and Virginia, and Ohio. And there is or has been early voting in each of those states. So check the email we sent you, or check norml.org/vote to find out if you're registered and more information about voting in your state. Make sure you're looking at NORML Smoke the Vote voter guide so you know who to vote for. And most importantly, go vote. Go vote. Go vote. We're going to remind you over and over again until Tuesday, which is election day. Of course, I know everyone is anxious to see if, in fact, Ohio will be the 24th state to legalize it. Voters are going to decide that at the polls on Tuesday. We are going to keep you posted on NORML's Election Central. You can check that out now, find out more information about the statewide issue 2 referendum in Ohio, as well as some local measures that are pending also. Yeah. More good news about Ohio. There were polls. There were more polls. There's always polls. And the latest polls do show continued support for issue 2. But that's not enough. Support isn't enough. People have to go to the polls and they have to vote in order for the measure to pass. So if you know someone in Ohio, call them, text them, email them, do whatever it takes to make sure they have a plan to get to the polls to vote yes on issue 2 on Tuesday. Thank you for 50 million stars, JT. Appreciate that. Other states. Let's talk about sweet Virginia. Let's talk about it, shall we? I just before this started saw a piece, and apparently I provided comment for, on Cannabis Wire. And there are 2 critical points in this. And I'm going to include them both in what you're about to see. So Cannabis Wire wisely points out that not only have adult use cannabis sales been stymied in Virginia, an old-timey word, but this election could be a turning point for that. Could it be? Could it be? Well, I completely agree with Senator Eben, first of all, who says Virginia could possibly be the first state to go backwards. He's not wrong. There are only 3 possible outcomes legislatively based on what happens in this election in Virginia. 3 possible legislative makeups. We could have what we have today, which is we're going to have the Republican administration regardless. 2 more general assemblies with the Youngkin administration. That's how it is. So we can either have a split legislature like we do today, where the Senate, or one chamber, right now it happens to be the Senate, is controlled by Democrats, and the other chamber, which now happens to be the House, is controlled by Republicans. So we could have the same, or they could flip-flop. But either way, a divided government is going to be more of what we've had for the past 2 years, which is a whole lot of nothing. No path for adult use retail to begin, and really limited ability to move any policies forward, and mostly just using the Democratic chamber to prevent the rollback of a number of cannabis-related policies that were recently enacted. More of a whole lot of nothing. Or you could have, and this is, you can apply this math to pretty much any state, right? We just happen to be talking about Virginia. We could have a Democratic-controlled legislature, in which case the legislature could get adult use retail bills to the governor's desk, but that doesn't mean he wouldn't veto them. And if he did veto them, there would not be enough votes in the legislature. There wouldn't be a supermajority to overturn a veto. So you want to look at what kind of bill you're going to get to the governor's desk. You want to get something pragmatic and palatable, something that everyone can agree on, or most people, a majority can agree on, and something that the governor is just hopefully going to ignore and let take effect, right? So nothing major. Then the worst possible outcome for cannabis policy in Virginia would be if Republicans controlled the House, the Senate, and the administration. Why? Because then they could pass the bills that they've been trying to pass for the past 3 sessions now. Bills that repeal the ability to stop, search, or seize a person, place, or thing based solely on the odor of marijuana. It could repeal the ability for adults to share or for adults to cultivate for personal use. It can try to shove all kinds of toothpaste back in that tube. And Governor Youngkin still has not vocalized any cannabis policies of his own. He's simply said, oh, well, it's up to the legislature to get a bill to my desk. Meanwhile, his administration is calling committee chairs and tabling bills before the hearing ever gets underway. So, really is on the ballot, Virginia. And that's the same in so many states that have the opportunity to vote this Tuesday. Hey, Tree in North Carolina, good to see you here. It's been a minute. So go vote, okay? Let's talk about some more. Let's talk about some other news, some other legislative news. This one's, hey, Dwayne. Dwayne says both state and federal levels aren't working for us. You don't say. So, hey, Chris. So here's something, though, Dwayne, that did happen this week at the federal level. A bipartisan group of members of that U.S. House of Representatives reintroduced legislation to repeal federal marijuana prohibition. This is the States Reform Act. Now, the MORE Act was recently reintroduced by Jerry Nadler, and now this bipartisan group, led by Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina, have introduced reintroduce the States Reform Act. But here's the thing. The new speaker, oh, Mike Johnson, Republican from Louisiana. It's unlikely this dude's going to prioritize either measure, not the bipartisan States Reform Act, and certainly not the MORE Act. Johnson has repeatedly voted against the MORE Act, which also seeks to repeal federal marijuana prohibition. And the MORE Act's been passed twice by the House previously. The members of the Senate have never considered it. But Johnson has not only repeatedly voted against any proposed legislative changes in federal marijuana policy, but he's been vocally critical of Democratic leadership for advancing the MORE Act and similar measures. So are either of these bills even going to get a markup? Dwayne, and yet they have regulated cannabis in Louisiana. Dwayne says, Louisiana, yeah, such a lovely canna-friendly state. Yep, that's a place. Hey, Ryan in California. Yes, David. Yes, the speaker would have to allow it to have a floor vote. All right. So there's that. Look for an action alert in support of that coming soon. Now, let's talk about, an interesting news week. Remember last week we talked about Georgia and how Georgia has just really struggled to get its medical cannabis program off the ground. For a long time, they had, it was sort of legal for patients to possess a limited scope of medical cannabis products in that state, namely oils, but there was no way for them to get it. Then they finally licensed a small number of retailers. Now Georgia has taken a very interesting trajectory in which they are allowing independent pharmacies, so not Walgreens, not CVS, or whatever you have in Georgia, but independent pharmacies are allowed to register with the state to become retailers of state licensed medical cannabis tinctures, oils. So they're still medical cannabis products that are produced by licensed medical cannabis companies in Georgia, but they'll be available to qualified patients at independent pharmacies. And sales actually began, according to some news reports. Sales began. Have you been to any of these independent pharmacies in Georgia? Is anyone from Georgia watching? Tell us. We'd love to know. Randy. Randy says medical cannabis in Florida is still lame. Randy, you know Florida's going to Florida. Guess better than nothing. Folly, why you got to do that to me? Folly asks if NORML will be live on November 7th. I don't think so. Because I'm not going to be in the office. While I will be working, I'm not going to be in the office on that evening. So probably not. But we may do a special live the next day? I don't know. Is that something you want? Do we need to do an election day recap? Can't you just come back that Friday? Hey, Jason. Yes, Jason, we were talking just recently about Ohio. There is a huge vote. Issue 2 is on the ballot in Ohio. So if you know anyone, make sure they're getting to the polls. And Jason says, I think it's going to pass this time. Jason, polls agree with you that the support is there. A majority in every major demographic supports issue 2, but voters have to go to the polls. They don't go to the polls, support has to translate into action. So if you know someone in Ohio, make sure they're getting to the polls. And hopefully Ohio can become the 24th state to legalize it on Tuesday. JT, I try not to say that. I try not to say the F word. Sometimes it just sneaks out. I know, Ryan, the South and Southeast, they are sometimes sad-faced. But remember, we have Virginia. It is part of the South. And adult use is legal here. Go to the polls, Virginia, and protect that. You are literally protecting that on Tuesday. It's absolutely on the chopping block. Hey, David, we just talked a little bit about the reintroduction of the States Reform Act led by Nancy Mace. Why? That's a great question for Morgan. Presumably because Nancy believes in ending federal prohibition of marijuana. That's what I'm going to go with. Carl says we still need to fix the court system in Michigan. But we need to fix the court system in a lot of states. However, we're just the marijuana laws here. So if we can fix it that way or in that respect, we're going to try. Ryan, you all have fantastic questions today. Questions that are forcing me to use our own website. The Veterans Equal Access Act. I'm going to drop a link in the chat for you right now, Ryan, so that you can send an action alert in support of the Veterans Equal Access Act. But also, I want to check this, which is clogging up the whole thing. Okay. I think this is a different. Let's talk about this, though. I'm going to give you so in the Milcon VA bill, Ryan, there we go. I'm just going to share this sweet, sweet article from my friend Kyle Yeager at Marijuana Moment, in which the Senate voted to allow doctors to recommend medical cannabis to veterans. And this is similar to a House-passed version. It was about 3 months ago that the House passed its Milcon VA bill with a similar amendment, but the exact language in each is different. So the issue still needs to be reconciled in a conference committee between the House and the Senate, or it could be negotiated by House and Senate leaders as part of the final bill before being sent to the president and potentially being signed into law. So, great article by Kyle on recent action relating to veterans, but more specifically the Milcon VA. So, Dwayne, thank you so much. Dwayne says, just submitted my veteran action report email. Thanks for sharing that. You're welcome, Dwayne. That's why we have those. So you can send those emails so quick. You did it while we're watching this. I love it. You're welcome, Ryan. Carl, when does the DEA say it's on a Schedule 1? When does the DEA say that? That's the million-dollar question. Does the DEA say that at all? Great question. Folly, I think Ohio NORML is going to have all of the Ohio celebrations under control. But if you want to go to Ohio, get at it, my friend. Oklahoma had the numbers. John, Oklahoma had the opportunity, but the business proposals in their legalization measure weren't good enough to end the arrests of adults for using cannabis. That's frustrating, don't you think? Jason. Yes, everyone applaud Jason right now. Jason says, I personally driven about 20 people to take advantage of early voting to vote yes on Ohio issue 2. Thank you, Jason. That is incredible. I'm so glad I scrolled back up and didn't miss your comment, because that's what it takes. That is getting out the vote right there. Thank you. Thank you, Jason. Ah, hey, Tamra. Tamra says, seems like there will be a lot of new faces in the Virginia General Assembly, regardless of who is voted in. Yes, that is entirely accurate, Tamra. Then Tamara goes on to ask, how much basic education about cannabis do you think will be needed because they don't know much? Great question. It really depends on the makeup of the legislature, Tamara. And what we do here in Virginia is, it's like I've never done this show before and I'm not prepared. We like to have copies of clinical applications for cannabis and cannabinoids, a review of the recent scientific literature available for legislators who might need that level of information. Of course, medical cannabis is already legal, regulated, and available in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We also have a number of fact sheets at NORML that we often use for new legislators or during the lobbying process. So we may do that, but typically what we do here in this state at the beginning of a session, when we have either a large incoming freshman class in the House usually, or both chambers like this time, is we prepare a primer for them and we drop it off at all the offices, particularly the new ones, that explain sort of where we're at, what the big words are and how to say them, and where to find information, and how to contact us so we can help them talk about cannabis policy in a way that makes sense, even if they're not where we're at. So yes, there will be a massive effort on education in the first week of session. Hello, Kimberly. Kimberly shared this joint public hearing to examine issues in the New York State market related to consumer accessibility and retail sale of adult use cannabis. Is that something that has, I can only see your comment. Oh, wait, third time's a charm. I see it now. Perfect. Oh, thank you for sharing that. That occurred on October 30th. Thanks. Appreciate that. There was a hearing in New York. I hope that went well. Hey, Curtis. I think a lot of people are really happy for Ohio. Curtis says, I'm ecstatic for Ohio and other legalization states. Here in Georgia, I'm voting, hopefully, for legalization next year. Hey, Curtis, have you seen or been to any of the independent pharmacies in Georgia that have begun retailing Georgia medical cannabis products? Tell us. Hey, JC, in Virginia Beach, can a retired Navy wife get a medical card? Yes. Doesn't have anything to do with. Yes is the answer. In Virginia? Yeah, I mean, anywhere? Yes. Yes. In Virginia, if you are looking for healthcare providers who do those certifications, I'm going to drop a link for you in the chat right now, JC, just for you. You can click and schedule your appointment, do telehealth. You can go the same day to the dispensary. Thank you for asking. Hey, Dwayne. Dwayne says that the education he's provided has been simple. Yeah, it's a pretty high percentage of support for cannabis legalization in Virginia, Dwayne. Probably not a lot of support for squeezing that toothpaste back in the tube. Some people are going to try, though. What did you just share, Carl? I can't look at it right now. It won't let me open it. There is, first of all, thank you for being a NORML member, Jaw Lion. North Carolina does, in fact, need to move forward with cannabis policy. Absolutely. You do have a North Carolina NORML chapter. Make sure you get in contact with them. If you need help doing that, you can email us at chapters at norml.org. Or you can find it on the NORML website. I'm going to find that link for you. I'm going to find it for you. Oh, look at all of this information I'm about to dump in here for you. Tree, I'm so glad you said that because it, first of all, thank you. Second, it's reminding me to do something else. There you go. If you want to start a NORML chapter or find your state chapter, we'd love to help you get started. Here's our email and the link to find chapter. But Tree, you just reminded me about being a member. Guess what? Guess what? I just mailed out yesterday the very last batch of 2023 membership cards. And guess what mails out next, Tree? 2024 member cards. You're seeing it first here. I mean, I guess I posted it on the internet, so you could have seen it there or in our emails. But there it is. It's time for the black one again. You can get yours at norml.org/join. Get your 2024 member card. Then you can have a sweet, sweet collection of them. You know, I could have prepared for this nonsense in advance, but I didn't. He doesn't want to watch me fish around for stuff in my own drawers. Look, you could have like Pokemon or whatever. You've got to catch them all. You can add to your collection. You could have the 2022 and the 2023 and the 2024. I mean, there's other ones, but they're all different. Hello, Samuel. It's okay that you're late. We're still here. Tree would like personal cultivation in North Carolina. Yep, I bet you would. Look, I think North Carolina is one of those states that's going to need to pass a medical bill first, and probably one that's not how do I say this in a polite way? We'll just call it pragmatic. You've got to have a measure that's emotionally comfortable for your legislators, the ones that you have in office. And this typically means something that's a little restrictive, and that's okay. It's okay to start somewhere. What's not okay is to go, well, that's not perfect, so I'm going to take my ball and go home. That's awful. If you can pass a measure that ends arrests in any amount and or expands access in some way, then great. You're literally putting one foot in front of the other and moving forward. Do that. Do not let the perfect be the enemy of the good. That's just nonsense. I'm looking at you, Oklahoma. How absurd. And Ohio, you before. But you're going to get it right this time. It's okay. Hey, Kenneth and Colleen. Well, that was fun. Hey, let me tell you about some events that are coming up, because we already did all the news. Thank you, Carl. I'm just going to put this up here while I tell you what's happening. Oh, hey, guess what? This weekend, and even if you're not in Missouri, you can watch this wherever you are, because they're going to stream it on their Facebook. Missouri NORML's Fall 2023 conference is Saturday from 1 to 4 Central Time. It's going to be streamed live on Facebook. You can go in person if you're there, obviously. It's free. There's all that information. You will hear from super amazing people like NORML's political director, Morgan Fox, NORML's chair of the board of directors, Rick Steves, world's most famous travel host, and our board chair, and an absolute champion of cannabis freedom, and also from the NORML board of directors, and the NORML Foundation board of directors, and the NORML legal committee, and Missouri NORML, Dan Beats. So lots of great people speaking at, I don't know where that went, at the, there we go, at the Missouri NORML Fall 2023 conference happening this Saturday, from 1 to 4 Central, in person and online, free. Also coming up in a few weeks in Missouri, specifically in Kansas City, is their Thanksgiving event, or rather their Thanksgiving event. Check that out on Facebook. Put all the information for you right there. David wants to ask if the DEA is going to change the schedule of marijuana. Are they? Kind of the $1 million question. Our opinion at NORML is that there have been many scheduling reviews, even scheduling reviews that NORML has initiated at the federal level, and the DEA has not budged on a single one yet. Are they going to accept the HHS recommendation? Let's find out. Is the FDA then going to magically start regulating the plant? That would sure be interesting. Thank you for asking. um, I don't know about that, Thomas. Okay, so coming up at, oh wait, I almost skipped over sweet, sweet South Carolina and my dear friend Scott. You don't want to miss his show. If you're in South Carolina NORML does a weekly live stream on Wednesdays at 7 Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern. Who would do a live at 7 in the morning about cannabis policy? I don't know. But Scott Weldon does South Carolina NORML's weekly live stream Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. It streams live on their YouTube. Hey, Michael, thanks for popping in with more support for Ohio. We have been reminding people consistently to get out to the polls and vote yes on issue 2. That way Ohio can become the 24th state to legalize it for adults. Do it, do it. All right, we got South Carolina's info out there, and now I didn't even update all that information. Good job, JM. What is that? Wednesday, December 6th. We'll just change that before I share it. All right, coming up at the end of November. That's right. It's the NORML Key West Legal Seminar. You know you want to come hang out there with yours truly. We're going to have a Jimmy Buffett celebration at the welcome reception. It's going to be fantastic. There are going to be leading cannabis legal experts from around the country sharing all their knowledge with you, whether you're an attorney who needs CLEs or not. If you are an attorney who needs CLEs, great, we got you. We have CLEs approved for every state that requires them. Come get them from us in Key West. Sounds pretty fantastic, doesn't it? We'll be at the beautiful Pier House Resort and Spa. This is November 30th through December 2nd. You can register for the NORML Key West Legal Seminar at norml.org/Key West. It's in the chat for you. Oh, now it's in the chat for you. JC, oh, thank you, JC. I found your comment. Where to get medical cannabis? Well, in Virginia, first you get registered, and I sent you that. You get certified by a practitioner. I sent you that. But now, JC, I'm going to drop this link in the comments for you as well. That will show you where all of Virginia's medical cannabis dispensaries are. And if you're in the Virginia Beach area, there's one on Bird Neck Road, Cannabis on Bird Neck Road. You'll see all that on the website. Jaw Lion, thank you for asking if there are any NORML events in North Carolina. You can reach out to North Carolina NORML and ask them, check out their Facebook page, and maybe they do have one. I did a quick look. I did a quick look on the Facebooks before I start this show every week, and I didn't see one. I'm actually going to see if I can look at their page right now and see if they have anything. No, I don't see any current events coming up. But feel free to reach out to them. All their information's on our chapters page. Yeah, breweries are popular places. JC, let me know if you didn't see that link, because of course it's not going on some of the streams. Can't post comments to some destinations. That's super helpful, StreamYard. Thank you. All right, Texas NORML. I'm gonna give you 3 more events coming up. Some of them you might want to plan for. So we're gonna give lots of advance notice. Texas NORML has its live stream in December. They just did their November live stream. They have their December live stream coming up, December 6th at 8 p.m. There's the info for sweet Texas NORML. Then let's skip right ahead to January, in which case you might want to attend the 2024 Virginia Cannabis Conference here in Richmond, Virginia. Tickets are not yet on sale, but they will be soon, so please save the date. January 19th, 20th, and 21st in Richmond, Virginia. The 22nd will be Lobby Day, Cannabis at the Capitol. Please don't actually bring cannabis to the Capitol. Just come to the Capitol and lobby. We'll have a sign up for that as well soon. And then, if you love the 2024 Virginia Cannabis Conference, well, my friends, you're really going to love the 2024 Kentucky Cannabis Conference. Here's all the details for that as well. That's March 7th through 9th in Kentucky. I don't know specifically where, but I probably should. And I hope to be there. It's in Frankfurt. There you go. Now you know. Whew. All right, friends, this has been great as always. Hey, don't forget to join NORML for 2024 so I can send you this sweet card. Do you need a link? I'll give you a link. Here's a link. There you go. There's a link so you can join NORML and get this card. Space for your name on the back. Add it to your collection. Samuel says it's legal in DC now, right? Yes, it is, but there are not adult use retailers in DC. There are medical retailers in DC, and there are lots of weird gray market retailers in DC. Buyer beware. And of course, tomorrow is Saturday, so you know what that means. The Weekend Weed Read comes out. Yeah. You want that in your inbox. If it's not coming to your inbox yet, I don't know why. Why haven't you subscribed to the Weekend Weed Read yet? You should. It's very entertaining. It's perfect with your Saturday morning coffee or tea or whatever you enjoy on a Saturday morning. That's right, Samuel. Fortunately, adult use retail has been enacted in Maryland. Not in DC, not in Virginia, but Maryland. Maryland's got it together. Subscribe to the NORML Weekend Weed Read. Make sure you check that box so it delivers to you every Saturday automatically. Yes, JC. Registered patient, not registered, certified patients in Virginia can make purchases at any stores, any of the medical dispensaries in Virginia. You can go to anyone. You just have to have your written certification. There's also this clunky new system where they try to issue you a digital certification barcode. My recommendation is make sure you ask for a paper copy of your written certification, at least a PDF copy. Take that with you. But yeah, you can shop at any of the dispensaries in the state. And that's it, friends. We did all of the things. Thank you for spending this Friday afternoon with me. You all have the best questions. I love hanging out with you all. We try to do this every Friday at 4, so make sure you hit that like, follow, or subscribe button wherever you're watching so you never miss when NORML goes live. And I'd love to see you back here next week. So everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you here next time. Bye-bye.